Welcome to our Tuesday session of Wealth Creators, Kingdom Wealth Creators. Whether you are here for the first time, maybe you jumped in after our challenge last week. Who had fun on the challenge last week? We had so many great speakers. I'm so excited to see what happens with those partnerships and collaboration that we've created. Whether you're here for the first time or you with us every single week, we welcome you. We're so happy to have you. Today, we're going to have some fun around one of my favorite topics, which is how to build a community using the fabulous tool of LinkedIn. Anyone, raise of hands for those of you that already have a LinkedIn profile. June, I'm going to ask June and Donis to share a little bit first about how, I guess what I will share is I've been using LinkedIn probably since it came out. Literally as a recruiter by trade, that is the tool in my toolbox that I embraced very early in my recruiting career and used it every single day, made millions of dollars with that tool. Truly. My husband owns a recruiting firm with me. He still does that. He is on LinkedIn every single day. It's a fabulous tool because people are there to do business, right? Whether you are here for, for some, maybe you're new to building a business. Raise of hands for those of you that are relatively new to your entrepreneurial journey. Maybe, let's say, 1 year or less, 2 years or less. Jen, you're right in there. A lot of us have been in the entrepreneurship world for a long time, but maybe LinkedIn is a new tool for you. And let me share why I choose LinkedIn is because there's something called a red ocean and a blue ocean. You might have heard this term before. Red ocean, I kind of think of Facebook. There's a lot of sharks out there. There's a lot of blood in the water. There's a lot of people. It's funny. I look in my DMs, which I'm not on Facebook very often, but I look in my DMs and it's flooded with messages from people that I do not know that are pitching me. And it's interesting. I'm a salesperson. I love the idea of serving people. I personally have never taken the approach to pitch someone before I know them. I don't even know if they are looking for what I'm able to offer them, right? So wherever you're at in your own sales entrepreneurial journey, this session really is going to help you create some intention around using this valuable tool of LinkedIn. Before we get started, we had some tech glitches last week. So for those of you that were in our workshop, for our Amazon gift winners, you will be getting your gift cards. I understand that wasn't sent out this weekend. My assistant was on holiday and forgot to tell me. And so there were some things that didn't happen that normally happen. So be watching for those. That has been rectified this morning. So they should be getting out to you. For those of you that couldn't catch the replays, there was some delay in getting the recordings up. So we've extended that for all of you so you can catch up. So that's a little bit of housekeeping. I am going to ask, two of our coaches, June and Donis, to share a little bit about their experience on LinkedIn. When I met both of them, they were both doing nothing on LinkedIn. I'm actually going to ask Jennifer, one of our other coaches, to share about some of her experience as well. I think we learn best when we see examples of others that started where we are and maybe are a little bit of farther along in their journey, right? So June, I'm going to pass the baton to you first of all. And why don't you just share a little bit where you were at with LinkedIn, what you've done with it, because you've actually created some communities that you're doing work with and things like that.
Yeah. So I started out like most people, and I joined LinkedIn decades ago when I was in corporate America. And I basically just connected with college, people that went to the same university, and people that worked at my same company. as a networking thing, but I never really ever reached out to anybody. And so fast forward, I become an entrepreneur, and I realize through Lisa and this particular training that she's going to do today, how important LinkedIn can be to entrepreneurs. So I also joined a LinkedIn group where we did posting parties so that we can play the algorithm to our advantage. But it was like a course built into a community. And for me, when I looked at my profile, I thought, oh God, what have I been putting out there for all this time? Because I never looked at my about statement. I never changed my picture. I never really used the tools that LinkedIn offers. And so through this group, I learned how to do that. I learned how to market through LinkedIn, but also through Lisa, just learning how to reach out to people. So for the course that I did, it really started with, there's a couple reasons why you might want to start posting in LinkedIn. One is to build credibility. So my previous jobs don't really line up with what I'm doing now, per se, but I was building credibility with content that was, wealth education related. And through that, I started having people reach out to me. I wasn't doing a lot of reaching out, but through that, I was asked to write a chapter in a book as an expert because of my content. So that's in the editing mode, but that's something really unexpected that came out of my LinkedIn journey, is that someone saw that I was an authority in a topic that they wanted to have a chapter written about. But I've also, through that group, made some really great contacts and people that I've never met in person, but I think of them as very close people to me now. And it started with a business, and we were helping each other out. So we were looking for partners that maybe talk to the same clients, but they offer a different service. So there's so many ways that you can use LinkedIn, and Lisa's going to teach us the mechanics of it all. But there's many different purposes. So you can make alliances that can help grow your business. You can find clients there, and you can make friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and what I love about what June's done is she has evolved. We've all seen a LinkedIn profile where I met with a gentleman on Friday last week, and I was like, who is this guy? Because the picture did not look like him at all. It must have been 25 years ago. And so I mean, bless his heart. He just hadn't either, his wife probably hadn't gotten him to take a picture in a while, right? So it's funny, we all get to start wherever we're at. And we're going to show you some tactical, practical things today about whether you're just getting started and you need to create your first profile, or maybe like June said, you created it 20 years ago, you've never used it at all, and know that you want to use this tool. So I'm gonna pass the baton now to Donis. Donis, she is one of the examples of someone. Were you even on LinkedIn before when you were so you were on it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And Donis and I had a similar experience because I was a professional headhunter. I was a recruiter in financial services. I wasn't a practitioner until 6 years ago, right? So my transition was I was working with the people looking for jobs. Now I'm serving those people looking for jobs in their financial roadmap, right? Donis, her and her husband we're traveling entertainers. Larry still is. And so part of what you may face is that you get to create your new identity. You get to decide who you are going to become moving forward. So Donis, you did a lot of work on your profile. I'm actually going to share my screen with you because I love your profile. I love seeing.
I have it up too, Lisa. And so if you'll make me a co-host, because
Okay,
the screen
super.
that's up there
Yeah,
is actually something I want to teach on.
perfect. And Donis, you probably had what, maybe a couple hundred connections when you first started working with us. And
Actually,
you have
but
several
Lisa,
thousand now, don't you?
yeah, and I had a whole bunch back then, but I didn't know what to do with them. And
Right.
what I wanted to share with people right now, you can see I have over 11,800 connections on LinkedIn. But here, Monica has asked me to accept. And what happens if you accept that, it brings up a next page and you can connect with Monica's friends. And so before I met Lisa, it's like I'd accept and it's like, okay, yes, 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 yes. And so I had all this huge bucket of people, but I didn't know what to do with them. And
Right.
so that's what I have learned from Lisa and June is now what to do. And if I go to my profile, we've helped to change my profile. Did the page change? Can you see my profile up there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. The other thing that I did that I absolutely love is I came down here and I started, where is it? Oh, I started a newsletter. Um, mm,
Under
so
resources, I believe.
maybe, but you can start a newsletter in LinkedIn. Maybe it's not showing up, but that's another way that you can reach out. And when I did my first newsletter, I actually had a few hundred people sign up, and now I have like 800 followers on my newsletter. So
Yeah.
that's something that's incredible, that you can do also. Um, so
Well, and you'll notice with Donis's picture, she has a vibrant picture. It's very clear in her banner. Financial wellness is part of whole body health. Donis has a unique background where this woman, first of all, you would not believe how old she is. You'd be very surprised to learn this. She is healthy from the inside out, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. And she really looks at wealth and health together. We have sessions that we go deeper into that, don't we, Donis, about the
yes,
connection between health and wealth. And so, her strategy is really taking, what she's passionate about, what gets her excited, why she does what she does, right? And Donis, you've created some wonderful connections. You have you post about our challenges. You've created lots of collaborations with other people. And I know it depends with any marketing strategy, right? It depends how consistent you are, how persistent you are. We're going through a season right now where we have a lot of leads coming into us, so we aren't able to be as proactive, perhaps. But it's so crazy how just doing a little bit of needle moving activity on a daily basis really can expand your market very quickly. So Donis, thanks for sharing that. Jen, I'm going to have you share a little bit. You were very new to LinkedIn, totally new. You actually just had an example of a partnership that we've created through LinkedIn specifically. Share a little bit about what you're doing, what you've learned, tips and anything you might add. And you are muted right now, so unmute yourself.
I just posted that I was hiring, and it's
Okay.
very simple, and it just asks 3 questions like what. And so I said, insurance broker, will you always put the customer first was one of the questions, and do they have a license? So
Okay.
and I can't remember. So yeah, so anyway, so I got about 4 people that responded so far, and 2 of them, when they found out it was like a 1099, that it wasn't a position, they weren't
Yeah.
interested anymore. But you and I are talking to Kenny, who was interested, and he's actually already licensed. And so he's excited about Better, and he wants to learn how to do our other platform. So
Yep.
there's
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
And then one day I looked up brokers in Orange County. And so I just messaged each one of them and said, if you're looking for affordable insurance for your small businesses, give me a call. And so I got one response out of 10. I only sent 10 out. And I forgot to ask where he lived. So I set up a time to meet at 9 in the morning, but he was on the East Coast. So he was expecting a call at 9 a.m. East Coast time. And so he called me, but I still had my do not disturb on, so I didn't get his message. And so I I sent him the link, the Zoom link at 9, and I sent it before that, but he goes, well, I was expecting to talk to you earlier. And so we rescheduled. And when I went to send him the link, the Zoom link, he had blocked me. So
Yep, absolutely. I love it when someone blocks me. You want to know why I love it when someone blocks me? That is not the person I'm looking for. If they're going to block me for a reason like that, that is absolutely not the person I'm looking for. Absolutely.
I wasn't harassing him. I contacted him twice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's a great example. First of all, you all know my very favorite word is leverage. Okay. It's a great example of leveraging the system of LinkedIn to create a market. Many of us come to our entrepreneurial journey with lots of people that we know, right? I have, in my recruiting world, I would never run out of people that I could call and reach out to. Some people come to their entrepreneurial journey with a very small warm market. We talk about in our community here, who's on your 3 a.m. list? The people that if you were on the side of the road and AAA wasn't picking up, who would pick up that call when AAA wasn't picking up? So all of us have a very small 3 a.m. list, right? That's our inner circle. We then have this outer circle that maybe these are friends at church, colleagues at work, people that we volunteer with, right? People that are in your lives. I would call my Bible study my, kind of second tier group. And then we have groups like this where we are professionals seeking wisdom in our finances and our entrepreneurial journey. We are part of a community here of Kingdom Wealth Creators. And one of the things I love most about what we do in our community is we learn from each other. I know things that I know a lot of things, but I know there's a lot of things that I don't know. And that's why we leverage our workshops so that you can all grow and we can grow together. I want to give you some reminders before we jump into the LinkedIn workshop of some things coming up that you want to make sure you add to your calendar. So our next challenge is going to be July 16th. So all of you have been invited to be affiliate partners with us. By now, you have most likely you have a better link that you've become a better partner. This is the workshop series is really the intention is for us to you to leverage my skills and abilities as a marketer to share the good news of Better. The Better platform, as you know from last week, is making incredible strides in the marketplace. We are positioned to be in a pre-IPO position. We just got our first round of stock certificates, and we are helping families every single day. I use that tool in my financial practice, and it's a great tool that any business owner can use to leverage the systems built by the founder, Jeff Levitan. So make sure you mark your calendars for July 16th. If you don't have an affiliate link with us yet, please put in the chat that you need one. Our team is working on creating those for all of you, and there will be an email that comes out. We're going to have the graphics done for this challenge by Friday. So over the weekend, early next week, our team should be sending those out to you. Now, what I also want to remind you of is, who is it that these people, who is it that we're reaching out to? Who would benefit from workshops like what we do? I think of people, for example, that are ready to dream bigger. I know personally the thing that appeals to me about what Penelope Smith is doing, for example, is she helps women retire in 5 years or less. Become financially free in 5 years or less. I love the idea of helping women dream bigger. I personally found my financial freedom when I was 51, but my idea of financial freedom has drastically changed in those couple of years. And let me explain that. Financial freedom to me before was being able to afford my lovely mortgage here in California, put my kids through school. I have one more kid that's going through college. I wanted to be able to travel with my husband, and I wanted to live a reasonable life, right? My dreams now have grown 100x, partly because of what I've learned that is possible, partly because of the kingdom calling that God has placed in my heart. My partnership with the amazing Pedro Adeo, who has asked our community to be part of the transformation, the upheaval that he is creating in the financial market. And I know that industry is a multiple trillion-dollar industry. So I realize now what my dreams were very small before. And that's one of the things that I love most about our community is we help families dream again. We meet them where they're at, which quite frankly, most families just need to increase their cash flow, period, the end, right? And they want a better life for their children, their grandchildren. A lot of women, my friends, are wanting to get smart about money. I know personally, so many of my friends have relied on their partners, or maybe they've outsourced their money to a financial advisor, and they've lost in the market. They're sick of losing. It's not growing as fast as they'd like it to. There are a lot of families that are burdened with debt who want financial freedom, but they never can imagine how they're going to achieve it. So these are just examples of why you may want to invite people. These are intended for you to use as messages as you're going out in your own communities, as you're going, to various tools like LinkedIn, which we're going to share about. I've spent about probably 200,000 to 300,000 in the last several years on very, very just incredible mentorship programs. This is just an example of some of the people that I've been mentored by. And what I love about what we do is you get to borrow the training that I've received and I've invested in to help you grow your business. That is my blessing to be able to pass forward to our community. Now, we know that the Better platform has really done the work for us when it comes to the quality products, the quality services. So really for you, it's a matter of first, picking a dream. Like, why are you doing this? I talk a lot about my desire, my love of travel and seeing the world. That is a big driver for me, right? Picking what is the driver for you and why is this so important when it comes to marketing? Because I find that if you are starting with the dream, that is much more likely to enable people to, click a link or think about, accepting your invitation, right? I find, imagine if you go, if you are on LinkedIn and you get a message from someone that says, hey, you know what? I have a financial workshop. I thought you'd be interested. Versus I have a workshop that we're hosting that's getting to help me meet my dreams of travel in my lifetime. Are you interested in travel? Is that something you're interested in, right? You think about what drives people to really make decisions, and it's usually about something that they don't have but they want, right? Financial freedom, travel, there's so many things that every one of us has that's different. And our service really is a one-stop shop for people. Not only can we help them increase their cash flow, but we can actually help them with all of the financial products that we have as well. Especially for those of you that, like Jen said, there's a lot of people that actually have a license on LinkedIn and are not using their license, right? So we're going to give you some examples, some tactical, practical ways that you can use LinkedIn. You can take your better link and you can reach out to people on LinkedIn, create your amazing community. I always say with the caveat that that doesn't mean you don't get to share the good news with the people you already know, but I know for most people, there's this feeling that we might be rejected by the people we love. And that's a real thing. That is absolutely a real thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about, in fact, next week, when we meet, we're actually going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite topics, which is approval addiction. We're going to do a little mini lesson about how we tackle that, how we can overcome that. Okay. But let's just start with, why might you want to get on LinkedIn? Okay. So first of all, as of the recording of this workshop, there are 900 million users and growing. The people are there primarily as working professionals on LinkedIn. 4 out of the 5 members drive business decisions, and it's the #1 platform on social media for lead generation. Just from a pure hiring standpoint, 8 people are hired on LinkedIn every minute. I'm going to share a little bit about how I use it, how I attract talent, how to really tap into your own ideal market. Just in the last year, 40 million people use LinkedIn to search for jobs each week. And I did a recent search. I just did a search on people that are seeking sales roles, for example. There's 33,000 people right now on LinkedIn that have stated, I am seeking a sales role. So just to give you an idea, do you think a few of them might be interested in the better platform, right? Putting their sales skills to work to create their own family economy versus working for someone else. We'll talk a little bit about the fundamentals of a solid LinkedIn profile, and how to move leads off LinkedIn and build an email list as well. So, one of the things that I want, this is kind of an overused term, but it's very valuable to really know, who are you seeking? Who is your avatar? My avatar, we've done this exercise many times. Her name is Summer. She's 42 years old. She has been in corporate America like I was for, a couple of decades. She's making great money, but she's super bored with what she's doing. She can't remember the last time she learned something new. She has 2 little ones. She's struggling with her life work balance. She's had 19 bosses like I did in many years. And so I'm very, very specific about who I'm seeking, right? When you have an offer, what are you going to offer them? If you don't exactly know, then I would start with the better platform. Personally, that is where I would start if you are new to this. The better platform is creating a wealthier, healthier future for American families. Is there anyone that wouldn't say, that sounds interesting? That's a lean in moment for me, right? Obviously, constructing a winning LinkedIn profile is important. Talking about content, what are you going to post? That's one of the things we really do well as a community, is talk about that constantly. Like, what are you posting? What's working? And generally speaking, if you are approaching any social media platform as a decision to market, I would at least try to post twice a week. Okay. Now, you might remember Rachel Jane last week talking about video. Every single community that I'm part of right now talks about video. This, some people, this is no problem. For most people, I would say this is a fear. And guess what? That's okay. But just know that video does equal engagement at a higher rate. So just know that is, if a skill set that you don't have yet, and you want to really capitalize on the best engagement, that is a skill set that you get to learn. Now, I want to start with, I attended a really incredible workshop for financial professionals about a month ago, and they had a great formula that they used for creating your profile. So first of all, of the person that you're seeking. First of all, I want you to identify, really be clear about what you want to make. What do you want to make this month in your business? Whether it's you're just starting out, what would an extra $1,000 a month do for your business? If you're a seasoned professional, what would an extra, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 do for your business? And based on what you do in your business, how many clients would you like per month ideally to achieve that? You basically take, how much you would need per client, divide that by the number of people. And that's simply how you clone. You get to create an idea of what you want to make. I hear people all the time. I sit down with them every single week. What is your goal? 12 months from now, what would you have liked to earn in your business? And it's interesting. The thing that I see the most is I want to earn 100K. I don't know why that's everybody's go-to answer. That just seems to be like the answer. Maybe because most people never make 100K in our country. Isn't it interesting? The greatest country in the world, and so few people ever make more than 100K. California, that is poverty level in California, unfortunately. So imagine if we could create this ripple effect of 100K is a simple thing. It's easy, it's flowing, the money comes easily. We can do it, we can help others do it. If you don't get clear about what personally you want to make, your mind is going to have trouble getting around that goal, right? So getting clear about what you want to make is ideal. Now there's people in your hand already. We talk about a lot, how is God going to bless us with more if we are not first taking good care of what's in hand, who we already know? There's a lot of talk in our financial practice right now about no family left behind, never needing a GoFundMe. We're on a massive drive right now to protect families with life insurance, protect their assets with fixed indexed annuities, protect their legacy with trusts and wills and things like that. And the thing is, most of us have people in our lives that we haven't yet spoken with, or you might have a client. For example, I have a client that I want to clone. His name is Scott. He is a business owner. He has a specialty that he helps other business owners. Scott is actually a referral partner of mine. He's gotten his life license. He has no intention of doing life business, but because he has his license, I can legally pay him commission as a licensed professional myself. And Scott continues to send me referrals. At least once a month, I have some referral from Scott, right? I am working on a plan right now to clone Scott. Scott's actually going to be a guest speaker for us at our next workshop on July 16th, and he has a specialty in entity creation. So, think about who is in your hand right now. Who is your trusted go-to person, professional business owner? Do you have a CPA? Do you have a doctor? Do you have a physical therapist? I know Donis has been really good about helping, her physical therapist as a client. We both go to the same wellness center. Our entire team of chiropractors are clients. Some of them are even partners in our business, right? Who is it that we already have in hand? These are often usually clients that you're already serving. So level 2 would be someone that in your circle that these are your 3 a.m. lists. These are the people that you care deeply about. We had an example yesterday on our agency call that unfortunately one of our agents, she was meaning to reach out to a dear friend and literally just hadn't gotten around to it, right? And got a post on Facebook that her friend had been murdered, and her family is completely devastated financially. And it's just a matter of, now that what who would those people be for you? Did you at least let them know what you're doing? For our licensed professionals, I tell people, are you a secret agent, or do people know you have an agency do they know what you do? A great call that I like to make to my warm market is simply, I don't know if you even knew this. I have a list. I have a list of people. When someone asks me, what's your favorite restaurant in Tustin? I have a list of 3. When someone asks me, do you have a good tax strategy person? I have 2. I'm looking for a 3rd. If somebody asks me, who do you go to for a great massage? I have 3. I ask them, I say, I don't actually know what you're up to right now. What are you doing? If someone asks me, and they need what you have, I want to be able to be clear on what you do. Now, not only am I very genuinely interested in that, but I also want to make sure they know what I do, and I will add that to my list. I will have that in my Rolodex. And, you think about, I am certain that the way that community building is built the best is from warm market to warm market. And I'll give you an example. June and Donis, for example. June and Donis were great friends before they met me. I actually met Donis on Alignable, another tool. I mean, there's so many out there, right? Donis reached out to me. She was working with a women's group that aligned with what I was looking for. It was a great group we both were involved with for a period of time. Through that group, I met Donis. And then Donis introduced me to June. It's called warm market to warm market. And there's nothing more powerful than that. Because guess what? When June and I met and Donis was there was automatically a level of credibility that's been added. Automatically I had a level of trust with June. It's interesting, when I first met June, she comes from a long background in financial services like me. She too had been a little jaded, right, June, in the industry. She wasn't even a grandma yet, but she has 2 children, and she was kind of in a place in her life where she was like, you know what, I've done enough for these kids, legacy wise. I've worked really hard. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to live at large. I'm going to spend this retirement that I've saved so well on, right? And to see the chain, there were literally 180 shift for June. in how she looks at life now and the legacy that she's building for her kids and Mateo, her grandson. June, you've really, I will say you are the one in our community that I've seen the biggest shift in terms of where I met you, and I just love seeing what's possible. I love seeing, everything that you're doing. And I think it's just a great example of what community does, for people. Do you have any thoughts around that, June? Anything you want to mention too?
Yeah, I mean, I was in financial services and didn't like how the wealthy only help the wealthy, and none of my friends were super wealthy, so I could never help them. And so I had a choice. I could complain about the industry or I can help change it. And I think
Yeah.
we are changing the industry because we're doing business differently and we welcome people wherever they're at, and it's refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and after I had a degree in finance, I had a other training, and I worked in financial services, and I'm learning so much more now. And there's something that financial services industry, it isn't a priority for them to educate.
Yeah, yeah.
And we all need it. I don't think of one family that couldn't use financial education.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree. So, you think about your list, so first of all, who do you have in hand? Who's a client that you already have? There's a lot of people that leverage better. They're bringing the better tool into their existing, business that they run. We see a lot of coaches, for example, you leverage the use of the tool of better. A lot of insurance professionals like us, we're using it as a tool. Who is that client we want to clone? Who is that client that we can serve with the better tool? Then there's the people in our closed form market. The third level is someone like you meet on LinkedIn. Someone you like their profile, you like the energy that they're putting out. For example, and I'm going to give you some tips around how to find that. Okay. Now, ideal cloning, there's a test that I like to share with people. So start with pick one client, either one client you have, or I would suggest somebody that maybe you've met and you just, every time you meet with them, you get fired up, you're excited, you leave that meeting energized. This could be a colleague maybe that you work with. You just know you would love to work with them again. Maybe it's someone that you did a volunteer project with at church. Somebody that you just know you enjoyed spending time with. You would be able to provide tremendous transformational value to. And you'd get well paid for it, by the way, right? You can find them on the World Wide Web. So this is where we're going to do that, and I want you to think about, there's very distinguishable characteristics. What is their job title? Are they a business owner? What industry are they in? How many years have they been there? What's a past career, location? Take a screenshot of this. There's so many things that the more specific you get about their distinguishable characteristics, the better you're going to be able to message with that person, to resonate with what they're looking for. Back to this slide here, when you think about how much did you or would you make from this ideal client in the first year? One of the reasons I picked Scott is I know that when I helped his family the first time, I made $25,000 for my family, and it was it was a pretty simple case that we did. We did a couple of, an IUL policy and a term policy, but I knew that based on what, he was putting into those policies, my family earned 25,000. And guess what? The work that I did on that case was the same amount as I did for a single mom that could save $50 a month on a policy. And I'm happy to do it. I want you to and appreciate the idea that you are invited to also level up who you are serving, right? The work is the same. If you can, 100x your income in the same work, doesn't it make sense to do that and learn that skill to do that, right? I want to also, I'm going to shift now to we're actually going to go on LinkedIn, and I'm going to ask for a volunteer here. So Liz, can I call on you? Are you brave enough to be my volunteer for a little bit?
Sure.
Liz is relatively new to our community. Remind me, did you come through Christina? Is that right?
Lorna.
Through Lorna. Okay, super. So Liz, what do you do for what is your business outside of the Better platform?
I'm actually a corporate recruiter. So worked in corporate
Are
recruiting
you?
for many years, yeah. And
Oh, you are
about
kidding me.
COVID, kind of, a lot of jobs got recruiters were one of the first ones to go. And
Yeah.
so started just doing some contract recruiting, and that's what I'm doing now, kind of freelance contract recruiting.
Oh, you are kidding me. What a
Yeah.
small world. How funny is that? So many people in recruiting. It's a great industry, isn't it?
It's fun. It's getting tough though. It's
It's hard right now. My
very hard.
hubby's he definitely is seeing a little bit of softening of the market, which again, one of the things that I'll invite all of us to do is to just understand that the business that we are in really is recession proof. When there's lack of jobs, people are more open to opportunities. For example, right, the Better platform is a great opportunity to show people how to create their own economy, right? When things are going well in the economy, there's more money flowing easily to people. They're more likely to enroll in programs that will help them build their wealth in our retirement areas that we focus on, right? So Liz, for example, for you, have you been on LinkedIn before as a recruiter professionally only, or have you ever done any business development for you
I haven't done
yourself
business development on
personally?
it, just more as a
Okay.
recruiter. Yeah, utilize them as a
Okay, so
recruiter.
you're familiar with the tool. So
Mhm.
you actually do you use like Sales Navigator and some of the more
Just LinkedIn
complex
recruiter.
search
Yeah, we
tools?
have
Okay,
LinkedIn
LinkedIn
recruiters.
Recruiter.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, super. So one of the things that Liz may face potentially is maybe a shift in identity a little bit.
Mhm.
I bet that question has that occurred to you?
Yep, it's
Right?
written down for
Okay.
my call later.
That is a big one. That's a huge one. Let me see if I can find you on LinkedIn. What's your, are you under Liz or Elizabeth?
No, Elizabeth Garcia.
Elizabeth Garcia. And where are you located?
I am in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale. Oh, you're in Scottsdale. I need to come visit you. I'm coming out to see my son there in a couple of months. We'll have to have coffee.
For sure.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Let me share my screen. Let's try and find you because I don't see you coming up.
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
Elizabeth Garcia 62 is the
62. Oh, do you have 62 after your name?
no, just the LinkedIn profile. So it's linkedin.com and then Elizabeth Garcia 62. I can put it in the
62.
chat if that helps.
Oh, put it in the chat for me. Why don't you? Yeah. Okay, put it in the chat and then I'll do it that way. So let's use this real case for Liz for a little bit.
Oh, I can't
to
wait.
help her. What's that?
I can't wait.
So Liz, for you, tell me, have you thought about how you want to use Better? Have you picked a niche yet, for example?
Yeah, I was looking more at the debt consolidation.
Okay. Okay, that's a great one. Yeah, absolutely. So, the first thing that I would suggest you do is, first of all, look at who you have in hand. Who do you have in your LinkedIn contacts? That's always, those first connections that are, we already have connection with. We know that, this might be somebody that we regularly communicate with. Now you have 1,765 followers. So that's a decent amount. Now, would you say your industry, are you industry specific or have you recruited generally on all types of positions?
Recruited for retail in the past and automotive and now renewable energy.
Okay. Okay, super. So you have a couple of niche specialties. So, one of the first things that I would do is I personally would think about, for example, who you know in your LinkedIn community that you think might have student loan debt. That tends to be one that I see more people. It's a lean in moment for them. They had deferment for a long time during COVID. Many of the people, we learned last fall when it started again that many of them had kind of set it and forget it, and now it's like top of mind for them. So that's one of the places that I would start. Now,
Okay.
personally, I like to pick a niche. So, for example, nurses tend to have a lot of student loan debt. Teachers, crazy enough, have a lot of student loan debt. We find social workers, crazy enough, have a lot of school. Isn't that interesting? Nurses, teachers, and social workers. Some of the, unfortunately, not the best paid roles in the world, and yet also have some of the highest debt, right? So, for example, you have a big advantage, Liz, because you are a recruiter. It is common for you to be reaching out to people. You know what I mean? So, just to give you an example, I'm going to search on nurses that are seeking employment right now. And let's just see, generally speaking, how many. There's over 2 million nurses on LinkedIn. So first of all, let me just ask you, do you think there's probably some that have student loan debt
for sure.
that could use some help here? This is just an example of the power of LinkedIn. There are people that are out there that are actively, on the market, and they have a need that you have the solution for. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one of the first things that I would suggest is picking a niche, picking up a type of person that, if you are developing a new market on LinkedIn, that is what I would do, is try to pick a niche. I have a colleague that she decided to niche down on doctors because, again, a lot of student loan debt, right? I think the medical profession is a great one. Pharmacists, there's a lot of pharmacists with student loan debt. You want to also think about how you niche down, for example. Also look at if you pick a nurse, for example, and you help them with student loan debt, forgiveness, what that enables them to then do with that extra income. Does that, oftentimes I find people are literally not saving for retirement because they're paying down their student loan debt. A very simple message with some some meaningful content around, I'm a recruiter, in your local market. We are, helping some nurses now and we're finding that a lot of them have student loan debt. Is that something that, that you have personally? What we find is we have a company that can actually find forgiveness for that, and this is a very common thing in the recruiting world. We have a lot of companies that actually offer student loan forgiveness as part of their package. So that is a very common thing. That is not an unusual thing for a recruiter to be asking about, right? Or at least offering the benefits of, if that makes sense, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that would be a great niche that I would recommend, Liz, for you. Now, one of the things, we're getting a little tight on time. When you think about the transition of, going from, I'm known here as the recruiter for so-and-so, and I really want to be able to offer this as well. First of all, it's very common for people to have two positions on their profile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you see it every single day with resumes.
Right.
We live in a world, my friends, where everyone everyone should have a side gig, you know? We talk all the time. I believe, 90% of people probably should have a job, go to work, know what they're doing day to day. But doesn't it make sense that 100% of people should have more than one income? Should have the ability to not have all their income in one basket. When I personally go to market with Better, that's what I lead with. I lead with, who do you know that could benefit from an additional income? That is what I lead with, because personally, I believe that it's better. You can better able help. you can help people better by helping them help themselves. Help them create their own economy. That is my personal philosophy. And just, before we let you all go today, I wanted to show you, I did a search earlier today on how many people are seeking sales right now in our market. There are over 1 million people that state in their profile they are seeking sales roles today, right? So there are definitely people that are looking for you, friends. We always talk about, we're looking for the people looking for us. So I want to invite you all to have that mantra in your mind. I hope this today was meant to be very, it's a big topic to create a LinkedIn presence and a command for it. So today was meant to be a little taste and see about what you can do. And I just encourage you to make a commitment. If your intention is to grow your business and create these passive income streams in your business, you get to work with more than your two hands. You get to work with the people looking for you, So invite you all to, start to adopt this marketing presence in your own life. I want to share with you a couple things coming up for us in the next couple of weeks. We have next week, we're going to actually have my girlfriend, Lori. She's going to be Lori wasn't a Lori amazing last week. She's going to be sharing with us how we can take back our financial sovereignty with crypto. We're going to dive deeper into that with her next week. Also, that same day, there is an event that I'm speaking at that I invite all of you to join us on. Take a screenshot of the opt-in. And it's just an incredible group of women called Girl on Fire. Unbelievable lineup of speakers. That is going to be July 1st and 2nd next week. So really great opportunities for you to continue to learn and grow with our community through the other communities that we're part of as well. So friends, that is all for us today. The corporate girl in me likes to start and end on time. I'm going to let you all go. Blessings in this amazing life journey, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.